Welcome to Biohacking with Brittany, and I am so thankful that you are listening today. This is day 6 of my big birthday giveaway that I am doing. So this is something I've wanted to do for a while, and it's been awesome to kind of just see it all come together, and so exciting to see all of you enter. If you haven't entered yet, I really suggest you do so. The giveaway is now live. There are 2 different boxes that you can win of prizes. So box 1 is out and live, and you can take a look at all the products in that. It's actually on my Instagram page. It was in my newsletter. There's a blog post on my podcast. It's kind of everywhere. But if you actually want to see like the products themselves, you can go take a look on Instagram and TikTok as well, actually. And this is a big, big prize. So worth over $2,200 USD. It's about 3,000 Canadian. This has quite a lot in it. And this has products from Timeline Nutrition, Glycanage, Kineon, Bioptimizers, Sensate, Prolon, and Zero. And it's been really cool to do this. I love seeing all of you enter. You're actually running out of time now. It's slowly getting to that point. The way that you can do this is click the link in the show notes on the podcast platform that you're listening to this on. It's probably the easiest way for you to do it. There will be a link right there, and that's how you enter. And then when you click on the link for the entering, you'll see all of these extra ways that you can enter. So following the brands involved, you get extra entries. Sharing it with other people, you get extra entries. You can also do other email addresses, whatever you want, really to increase your chances. And then there's day 2, which is also worth over $2,200, which is 7 different brands. And that's really exciting. Again, that's live now. You can also see it on my Instagram page. And that is also worth a lot. And when you enter, you are entered into winning either box. So I have all the prizes here. I will be sending the boxes myself with a little bow on them. I'm really excited about it. And I'm just happy to be able to give people the chance to win wellness and health and biohacking products and tech that they might not be able to get otherwise. So to be honest, like some stuff is quite pricey. And some stuff is not accessible to everybody. And so that's why it's nice to do these giveaways, because I get to organize it and, do all the work, and you get to enter and you get to win and you get to try these products. You get to try these brands that maybe you've been hearing about for years. Maybe they're new to you. Maybe you want some of the prizes and you don't want all of them, but you're going to give the other ones to other people that you love who you know would really benefit from them. Like, that's great. That's really cool. It doesn't really matter, right? Like, it's all about helping you become healthier and helping you optimize your health. And that's the most important thing. And I just want to be able to give you an opportunity to do that at no cost to you. So I would really enter. The giveaway closes on September 8th. So it's coming up. It's coming up. And when it closes, it's closed. Like, we're done. Like, that's it. And you will be notified via email if you win. So it's not going to be on social media. So watch your inbox, keep an eye out, and I will send you an email, which will be really exciting to just kind of see. So good luck to everybody. I really hope you win. I really do. I've won a couple things in my life, and it's such a sick feeling when you win. You just feel on top of the world. And I just can't wait to be able to give that feeling to 2 different people. Yeah, it's awesome. So I really encourage you, optimize your chances of winning. Okay. Think about how you can be a little sneaky and do it. For example, if I was going to enter, I would probably use all of my email addresses because that's usually what I do when I try to win. Is I'm like, oh, I have this email address from my university days. Okay, I'm going to use that. Like, for example, I tried to get Taylor Swift tickets in Canada and I used all of my email addresses. Did I get tickets? No, I didn't. Was I successful? No, I wasn't. So I still tried though. And so maybe one day I will be able to get tickets, but it was devastating. Anyway, enjoy this giveaway. It's made for you. It's not for me. It's for you. I have owned all of them, or used them. And so I'm just excited to be able to provide something for somebody else who might not be able to get them. And that is what it's all about. And what's interesting is like each box is worth over $2,200 USD, right? Which sounds great. Like that sounds awesome that you can win. But like there's products on the market in the biohacking space that are like over $100,000. Okay. And it's like, how do we help people optimize their health and just make it a little more accessible is like something that I think we should kind of prioritize. And so a great way to do that is through a giveaway like this, because it's at no cost to you and you get to win. And so I want to do more of these. And again, like it was so cool to be able to message people and be like, hey, like you won. Good job. You won. Here you go. Here's your free prize. Enjoy it. And maybe that'll be you this year for my birthday. My birthday's in September. Anyway, enjoy this. And today's episode is all about Prolon. Prolon has been really cool to use. I'm pretty new to Prolon. I tried their 5-day fast briefly a few years ago. I don't even think I did the full thing, but now they have such cool products on the market. So what you can win from Prolon, which is in the prize day 1 box, is their 5-day fasting kit. So this includes different foods that really support fasting. So it basically puts you into like more of a calorie restriction, but not 0 calories. And there's a bunch of different things that you can eat through this. And a lot of people love it. And if you ever watched the Goop show on Netflix, the 5-day fast that Gwyneth Paltrow does that has like the little soup kits and stuff like that, that's Prolon. And that's what you could win. That's what we're doing today. And that's what this interview is about. So they also have their fasting bars, which is my personal favorite. So I love to like wake up, have a coffee, have a fasting bar because it doesn't spike your blood glucose or insulin levels, which means that it actually leaves your hormones the same, which means that it actually keeps you in a fasted state. And they have the research to back this up. And that is saying a lot. It's all over their website. It's very easy to read, very easy to understand. And so that's why I love it. And that's why their fasting bars are always sold out, actually, is because so many people love them and they taste good. Can't even stress this enough. They don't taste artificial. Okay. Do you know how many keto bars I've tried that taste like garbage? These do not taste like that at all. They taste so good. So if you're wanting to try them, I would buy the variety box. It's really good. There's like, I forget the flavors. I think it's like coconut macadamia. And then there's like a chocolate chip one. It's really, really yummy. And I would do that. You can use my discount code BiohackingBrittany. Seriously, use my discount code because again, these bars aren't cheap. And so you're going to want to save what you can. So go for it. Use that. Link will be in my show notes for this and in the blog post that just came out today, all about how this works, how to fast with food. I will link the blog post in the show notes as well. Enjoy this episode, and I will catch you tomorrow for another one. And a reminder, your time to enter the giveaway is running out. Don't hesitate. Enter now. Send it to everybody you love, friends, family, and good luck. I can't wait to tell the winners very soon who gets to win these prizes. They're both really, really great. I'll catch you tomorrow for another episode. Welcome to Biohacking with Brittany. I am thrilled that you are tuning in for another episode. This episode is in conjunction with the giveaway that I am doing for my birthday. So if you haven't yet, please get involved with that. It is up live now and you can enter. This is basically a 2-day giveaway of a bunch of different health and longevity products. It's probably the biggest giveaway I've ever done. And I really encourage you to enter if you are interested in nutrition or wellness or biohacking or anything like that in general, because the prizes are massive. Like I literally send you like this massive box of products that you get to just try if you win. And I think each day is worth a few $1,000s. So definitely worth your time. And today we are talking to none other than Prolon. I am so excited about this. I have actually been interested in Prolon for a few years, and I feel like this is a long time coming. And I actually think a lot of people know about Prolon more now than they did a while ago. So for those who don't know, Prolon is a 5-day dietary program carefully designed to nourish and rejuvenate your body while supporting metabolic balance. Today, I am joined by Dr. Rafael Gonzalez, who is in the world of regenerative medicine and has been for the last 20 years or more. He serves Prolon as a scientific advisor. So welcome to the show.
Brittany, first and foremost, happy birthday. And secondly, I'm excited. I'm totally excited to be on here and talk about the most important thing in our life is essentially what you put in your mouth, right?
Yeah.
It's beyond important to take care of. I always talk about the context of you don't have control over so many different things, but the one thing you have control over is what you put in your mouth. I mean, exercise is difficult. If you get injured, you got to take a step back. But no matter what, somebody can aid you in what you eat. Somebody can keep you focused in what you eat. And now with the evolution of, fasting and so many different dietary things that are out there, there's nothing more excited than looking at the context of how do we use food as phenomenal nutrition that has scientific background. And this is what Prolon brings to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. So for people who maybe have heard Prolon here and there, like how do you explain what it is and what it actually does?
Everybody's heard the term fasting, but just imagine if somebody tells you, I can put you in a fasting state with eating food. And what it essentially is, it's a 5-day program that has been scientifically demonstrated to put you in a fasting state for 5 days. But more importantly are the benefits that it actually gives you during that 5-day fasting state. So I'm asking you to go on a fast, but nutritionally to eat. So I'm not making you suffer through 5 days of water, which is not easy.
Yeah, which is not easy. I think the longest water fast I've done has been like 72 hours. It was like 3 days. And It was rough.
Wow.
It was really hard. And that was a while ago. So what are kind of some of the most common benefits that you see?
So one of the key things to this particular 5-day fast is how it works. First and foremost, you're giving, just so you know, 5 boxes. So it's clearly spelled out to you what you have to take on a daily basis. That 5 days, you're essentially consuming 78 different ingredients. It's a protein restricted diet that essentially you're starting off with about 1,100 calories and you taper off to about 850 during the middle of it. And then you end off a little bit higher than 850, but you're eating what it is. And the concept behind it is, most importantly, is I don't want to increase your blood glucose levels. I want to maintain them because it's the most important aspect of a fast. It's how do we maintain metabolic health? So when you start this, for instance, you'll open up day 1, you'll look at that box, and the first thing you'll have is this phenomenal nut-based bar that is fantastic, very, very filling. If I can eat 5 of those a day, I'd be happy as happy can be. It doesn't raise your blood glucose levels. It maintains you in normal range. And it starts your fast, day 1. So once you're done with your day 1, which essentially it entails that protein bar, then a snack. So you do have a snack. And the snack can range anywhere from olives to different types of crackers to maybe another protein bar. It just depends on the different days. And then you'll have some soups. There's various different types of soups you'll have there. So you're essentially having 5 meals a day, 5 small meals a day, and you can time them essentially however you like. And then you're done, day 1. Day 1 is designed to put you in something that everybody's heard is ketosis. Now, everybody thinks of ketosis. Brittany, you've heard of ketosis. Oh my God, I'm doing a keto diet. It's really not a keto diet. You're not stuffing yourself with a bunch of protein and a bunch of fat. It's not like that. You go into ketosis when the body sort of restricts the amount of calories. And it's another method of consuming energy. That's just what we want. We don't want to just have sugar as pure energy, right? We want other methods to actually start burning fat. And that's what this is designed to do. It's designed to burn fat, not muscle. Wait, fat is what we're doing here. Scientifically proven, studied. And then day 2, you will go into the start of ketosis again. And you'll start this process that's really, really interesting. And it's actually a big buzzword now. I don't know if you heard of autophagy.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. So it's one of the biggest things that you'll actually go through when you actually start this diet. And if you think of the word, what does the word mean? Auto means self, and phagy means eating. And what it essentially is when your body goes into a state of, I need to clean up and I need to use waste as energy. So it picks up that waste that's there, that metabolic waste, and it eats it for energy. Otherwise, you won't have that energy, right? Mm-hmm. Whenever you go into, for instance, think of simple starvation mode or whatnot, what happens? The body has to adapt. And that adaptation is actually a positive adaptation of how do I use what shouldn't be there for nutrients for my body? And this is what your body actually does. In day 3, you're in autophagy and you're still consuming food. Remember, you're still eating, what we just discussed. Day 4, you start going into what everybody calls, that Wednesday is always over the hump day. Day 4, I always tell people to do this Monday through Friday because it's when you're most busy. Day 4 is when you start what's called auto renewal or rejuvenation, what you just said earlier, rejuvenation. And it's that process of the cells start to say, I've expelled waste. I've done what I need to do. I've slowed down the cell division process because that's what causes aging. And I've actually consumed all the nice things. Now I'm ready to become healthy. And everybody reports, I don't know if you've done this before, but I've done the 5-day diet quite a few times. Day 4, and especially day 5, you have this sort of like it's a weird rush type of feeling. And I don't know if the rush is sort of like I've spent 4 days doing this and now I feel phenomenal, but it's really not that because it's scientifically shown that it causes a regenerative type of effect in the body. So if you look at Prolon or the company L-Nutra, there's been over $48 million done in clinical studies. And the neat thing about this is translational studies from animal models, mice, horse, and rats, to human conditions, and showing that if you're eating the right things, I can maintain your fasting and I can help all aspects of longevity.
Interesting. I'm glad that you kind of broke down the days like that because I haven't done it yet and I have it planned to do it in the next few weeks because it is something that I do want to actually plan and be very intentional about the week that I choose to do it. But I'm curious for people who are listening, people who are skeptical, like how can you get all of these benefits of fasting, but like you're still actually consuming 850 plus calories a day? Like, is it the same amount of benefits or is it a little less? Like if you were to compare somebody who fasted for 5 days water only and were to do Prolon, like is the water person better off just slightly or like, I don't know. How do you kind of like answer people who are skeptical if this even works?
Okay. When you do a 5-day water fast, guess what transpires? First and foremost, when you go into starvation mode, is the body stops dividing cells. And what causes aging is essentially division of cells. So our body only has a finite amount of cell divisions that will happen. And that's how we get old, we get aging. Now, one of the key factors of aging and fasting is a specific growth factor in our body called insulin growth factor 1. It's the one that helps cells proliferate. It's the one that helps us with health, believe it or not. But at the same time, it's detrimental when there's excess of it. And we try to keep that below. That is controlled indirectly also with blood glucose levels. So the concept behind this diet is I'm going to control first and foremost blood glucose levels by not raising them and by not spiking them. When we eat, we spike them. 1. 2, I'm going to control insulin growth factor 1.
Right.
With that, there's evidence that I can put you in that same fast as the water, but better. Because when I go into a water fast, what transpires? I'm actually starting to burn at one point muscle. We have evidence with Prolon, I don't burn muscle. I retain muscle mass. I lose fat. At day 5, you'll have not only lost weight, if you're looking to lose weight, which in the context of depending on how much you weigh, the more you're going to, of course, lose, but you're also going to retain muscle mass. Not only that, you somewhat reprogram neurologically yourself to say, I need to find the way to continue this. And there's evidence of it with their clinical studies where they show over 60% of the people after they finish this have more of a behavioral focus of, I need to eat right.
Right.
I went through this for 5 days. I saw what I ate for 5 days. I need to find a way to incorporate this later on down the line. And whether it be with other different aspects of Prolon, doing a 1-day reset kit, eating those bars, getting those bars, purchasing those bars and doing those bars also, incorporating those, you find that mentality and that method of how do I do this? This is better than a water fast. You're not suffering as hard. It's not as difficult. The clinical studies that they've actually shown demonstrate this, that if you do this 5 days a month, just 5 days for 3 consecutive months, the amount of metabolic balance you'll get, 1, 2, the amount of cardiovascular health you'll obtain from it is another thing. You will maintain health. You will feel good. And you just have all of it. It's the
Right.
whole longevity effect of doing this the right way.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense muscle wise, like protein synthesis muscle wise, because that's a big thing. You're right with fasting and over fasting is burning that muscle. And I'm somebody who actually struggles to put muscle on. So I am very conscious of that. And I used to fast way too much and honestly had a bunch of negative effects that ended up happening from it, which a lot of women go through. So I was curious when I was looking at Prolon for that very reason, because, and I don't know if you actually even know the answer to this, but do you have a recommendation for women on how they should approach it, especially in relation to hormones and their menstrual cycle? Like, obviously, I'm not going to do this during, menstruation, but I'm just wondering if there's a better time hormonally that I should do it so that it actually doesn't impact like ovulation or anything like that.
Normally, you want to do it this in between, cycles. I'm not a physician. I'm a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
You can reach out to our medical team. They know a lot better of when to do it. And of course, also talk to your own physician of saying, hey, I want to do this. When do you recommend? When do you think I should do this? But normally I would want, if I think of it logically, I want to be in between my cycle. I want to do it. Ultimately, the whole thing's every single individual out there is completely different.
Right.
It ultimately boils down to you. Having that comfort level of when do you want to do this? When do you want to tackle it? Number 2. And then also knowing your eating patterns. This is really important. What are your eating patterns? Are you a morning eater or are you a night eater? For instance, when I do it, I normally wait. I always do intermittent fasting. I'll wait, 14, 16 hours in between my meals. So I do, even when I do this, I wait still those 14, 16 hours, and then I consume within that 6-8 hour window. So I bring it later on and then consume all those 5 different things that we're eating, those 5 different meals within that window, and then I'm done. For me, I'm more of an evening eater because that's the way I'm sort of trained already. And I focus on that, focusing on keeping busy, focusing on one really big aspect that's important is get the right amount of sleep. If you put yourself on something that, you have to have discipline for, focus at the same time on getting the right amount of sleep while you're doing this. It's really, really important. You feel hungry at night. I tell people all the time, you feel hungry at night, instead of snacking, get your sleep in. Turn the TV off, close that book, or find a book that's beyond boring. Read some of my scientific publications. They'll probably put you to sleep. And do that at night, on cells. And you'll go to sleep and get the right amount of sleep. This way your body can actually heal appropriately and do what it needs to do.
Yeah. I love that tip. That's actually such a good idea. I think I would do that too, is like I would delay the first meal in the morning and kind of have all of the food that is included later on in the day so that I can kind of avoid going to bed hungry, because I have done that before and that can be tricky to navigate. I'm curious about, obviously, like sleep is such an important aspect to this, but I also feel like hydration is important as well. Is it just like you can drink as much water as you want? Is there recommendations around that when you're going through this? Like, what do you see people do?
Yeah, they essentially, you can drink all the water you want, of course, and the more water the better. It's always important
Yeah.
to keep hydrated. But they actually give you on day 2, this is what's neat about this diet. How does it affect everybody? They give you this drink. It's called the L drink.
Mm-hmm.
And it has something that's designed to retain muscle mass, not to burn into muscles. And you pour this into your water based on your body weight. So you will pour this into your water, and then they also give you a bunch of different teas. My favorite one is the hibiscus one. I put a tea bag in this big bottle that they actually give you, and then you fill it with water with the drink that they provide you for the last 4 days. And then you fill it, and I drink that all day long with the hibiscus. They also have a lemon tea that's in there that's fantastic. There's a mint tea in there that's actually really good too for those that love mint teas. But they provide those for you. But if you want to drink other, teas, as long as there's no sugar involved, it's
Right.
great. That's one. Two, everybody, the big stickler for me. I'm a coffee drinker. I have to have a cup of coffee in the morning. I have my cup of coffee. At this time, it's essentially just black coffee. We try to avoid too much caffeine. Essentially about 2 cups is perfectly fine. You want to go decaf, you can have a little bit more, but avoiding adding in the creams, the sugars, all those things, avoid it. Just have your black coffee,
Mm-hmm.
give you that energy, which is what gives me my energy in the morning a lot of times. And then go into your 5-day plan that you're doing here. Highly recommend it. Me personally, everybody asks me, I always say, do it while you're working.
Yeah.
Don't do it on a weekend when you're off. You have too much time to think. It's pretty spelled out for you for 5 days. Do it when you're working. If you work on a Saturday, then do whatever, Tuesday to Saturday. Do it that way. Don't do it when you're off, when you're just lounging, when you're just relaxing, because it gives you too much things of you want to go out and have an amazing dinner. You want to, stick
Mm-hmm.
to it. You will see come day 4 or 5, you will say like, wow. And then day 5 and beyond, be smart. Think of what you just went through
Mm.
and, be clean. Eat a little bit cleaner. You're going to be conscious of it already because you feel so good towards the end. But think of the consciousness of what you just went through, follow up with it. And, I'm a big advocate whenever those holidays come around. They now have this thing called the reset, which is a 1 day, actually just
Yeah.
a 1 day box, which is pretty neat because for those that are not willing to go ahead and take that full plunge into 5, just do the 1 day. You'll see how good you feel after that 1 day. You're going to be cleaner. You're going to feel a lot better. I mean, the simple analogy I think of is how many times have you overindulged? Instead of having 1 slice of pizza, you eat 3 slices of pizza. How do you feel after that an hour or 2 later? It's because the signals from the gut to the brain tell you, oof, you've taken this too far.
Mm-hmm.
Feel sick as sick could be. But what naturally transpires is your body automatically puts you in a fast. It tells you you can't eat anymore. If you eat some more, you're going to throw up. We're going to remove this stuff from the body. We have to eliminate it one way or another. I need you to fast. That feeling of nauseated and all that is essentially your body telling you you can't eat because you're going to feel even worse.
Right.
So it's just a natural response.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Who do you think is like the prime candidate for somebody to do the 5-day fast? Like, would it be maybe somebody who is like overweight or maybe like diabetic, glucose issues? Like everybody, like who do you think is like, this is like made for you type of thing?
Number one is somebody that doesn't have nut allergies because it does involve nuts in
Mm-hmm.
this. Number two, I got to say everybody. It's because of the way you feel when you do it.
Yeah.
Regardless of those that are looking to achieve weight loss, it's a fantastic way to do it. You're going to drop. I do this. Well, the first time, of course, you drop a lot more. The first time you do it because you've never done it before. For instance, somebody like myself that weighs 180 pounds, I'll drop down to 170, 172 within that week. And then, of course, you are going to gain a little bit of that weight back, a little bit of it, but you'll
Mm-hmm.
maintain that weight so long as you think of what you did and so long as that you decide to go and do the 3 rounds, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Clinical evidence, all the scientific evidence of it is there with doing 3 consecutive months of helping control blood glucose level, helping reduce circumference of the waist, and maintaining muscle mass. So there's nothing nicer that day 5 when you put on your pants and you can tell,
Yeah.
or whatever clothes you're gonna wear, it's looser and it feels nice.
Yeah.
Your gut's not bulging.
Yeah. How much of that is like water weight you're losing versus like you actually losing, like lowering your fat percentage? Do you know?
So it's really not that much water because remember what we just talked about is you drink a lot of water, you
Hmm.
cut the caloric intake, but at the same time, you're maintaining muscle mass.
Hmm.
And there's evidence there that maintaining that muscle mass essentially somewhere along the line is going to help you, the metabolic process, to work better. A little bit of it is going to be, of course, water because you're trying to find a way to keep hydrated to maintain health. The body always wants to be in, homeostasis, which is just
Yeah.
completely balanced. pH, temperature, all of it has to be completely balanced. Blood sugars have to be balanced. If not, you have all these other issues, metabolic syndromes, backache, all of it. I mean, you go into an inflammatory response. This is the other thing, how you feel when you do this, because you're controlling the immune system, help control the immune system secondarily, which is key to longevity.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like there are a lot of benefits from it. And I think a lot of people can see that. Do you think you would have to do the 3 months back to back, or could you do it 3 times in like a period of a year and maybe still get those same benefits?
I can tell you after doing one round, you're going to get benefits, just
Hmm.
one round on its own. And whether you're willing to do the 3 months that shows the clinical aspects of it, and I'm not talking about me just telling you this, I'm talking about, like I said, $48 million worth of research, many scientific peer reviewed publications in top tier journals that are done out of, Walter Longo's group, which is out of USC. And
Hmm.
there's a lot of studies there that show if you stick to that program, the benefits are going to be much higher than just doing one round. But one round in itself, I personally see it all the time. I get benefits of it. I do this randomly. I've done it 3 consecutive times. And then it's probably been now for me about 4 months since I've done one round. Actually, the week after next, I'm going to go and do one round. I'm real particular. I'll go do blood lab testing to see where I'm at. I have my little Keto Mojo device to see where my blood sugars are at, see where I'm in ketosis. I'll test myself. And it's actually nice to see that it works.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this should be here and it ends up being there, which is pretty neat.
Nice. I love that. I want to talk about your bars briefly. So, you guys came out with these like fasting bars. I've had them. They're really good. Like first of all, they're really tasty. And I've tried like so many different protein bars that taste just so artificial and so fake and it's just gross. But these ones are so good. So, good job on that front. But also, I'm looking at your website and you have these graphs here which I find so interesting. So if anyone wants to go find this, they can do it. It's like prolonfast.com and you click on the bars. But you have one that looks at the glucose response and then one that looks at the level of ketones when people have a bar, one of these bars in the morning versus water. And it's so interesting to actually look at this data and see that it's basically the same thing as just having a glass of water while you're fasting in the morning.
Correct. Yep, exactly. That's the nice thing about these bars. They're clinically shown to maintain blood glucose levels like you're drinking a bunch of, just the water. So essentially those that want to, that's why they sell the bar separately. Those
Yeah.
that just want to, I want to maintain my intermittent fasting. I want to maintain it a little bit longer. You go ahead and consume that bar.
Yeah.
It's not going to change you, which is pretty neat. They're nut based. All of them are nut based bars, many different flavors. My personal favorite one is the I think it's like a honey coconut type of bar, which is phenomenal. That's my favorite one. I love coconut. So it's got their macadamia nut base, which is a really good fat source that's for you. And they're not cheap bars. They're not like
Yeah.
you go to. There's nothing worse than I go to Sprouts, Mother's Markets, and that wall of bars. You're like, whoa, what am I going to do? Which one am I going to take? And then you try to read the ingredients and you're trying to figure out what to take. None of them has shown you any science behind any of that. They've just gone and taken, well, we know this is good, this is good, this is good. These bars are studied, which is what makes them different.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And it's probably my favorite product of yours, to be honest, just because it fits into my lifestyle so easily. Like a glass of water, even a cup of coffee in the morning, black, and then having one of these bars, and then maybe starting to eat a few hours later, depending how long I fast for. it makes it a lot easier. And yeah, it's just, I haven't seen anything like this on the market. So I really do appreciate that. But I'm going to read the ingredients out so people can hear them. So the one flavor that I like might be maybe the one that you're thinking of is like the coconut macadamia one. Although you
Yep.
also have the nuts and honey, which is good too.
Nuts and honey was just fantastic. Yeah, that's actually my favorite one.
Yeah. Okay. So the nuts and honey, the ingredients are like almonds, pecans, macadamia nuts, vegetable fiber, inulin, honey, flaxseed, coconut flour, natural flavor, sea salt, and rosemary extract. And it's about 190 calories per one bar, which is actually pretty good as well.
Yeah, they're great. And just wait till you do your 5-day. There's a little cocoa crisp, which is fantastic. Everybody wants a snack, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and this, when you do your first day, it's, I believe it's your first, second, fourth, and I didn't get to your 5th day too. They give you this little, it's a good size little cocoa crisp bar that is really good. For those that love chocolate, they're going to love this. It's like the perfect ending to your day. Like, I wanted something that's somewhat sweet, that you think is going to be sweet, that you think is going to probably be like, wait, there's no way that this does not raise my blood glucose. It doesn't. Have that and you'll be like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you've done that. I'm just thinking about consuming this, right? So you're fasting overnight, and you consume this bar, and like your glucose stays the same, your ketones stay the same. But have you measured anything else? Like, have you measured like cortisol, like your stress response, or like inflammation versus doing this versus just sticking to water? Like, I'm just wondering what else is kind of happening in the body when you kind of compare these two different situations.
I have not done it versus water, but I personally have tested my inflammatory markers, important ones, CRP, specific cytokines, and I've noticed they've gotten lower during this time frame, which is nice to see. I normally just do your standard blood work, what's called a complete blood count, a full metabolic panel, comprehensive metabolic panel, and then I look at more details in the context of inflammation, which, the number one thing you look at is CRP. C-reactive protein, I look at that, the high sensitive one. And then I incorporate a couple of different cytokines in there that I incorporate in the context of the term that's called inflammaging. That if you have these markers that are elevated, which is one of them is tumor necrosis factor alpha, and then the other one is interleukin 6, then you are in an inflammatory state. You are more prone to get a neurodegenerative disease. You're more prone to have cardiovascular issues if these are maintained relatively high. I look at those consistently, and they are always better following doing Prolon.
Oh, interesting. I should look at those. If your CRP is high, would those typically be high, or can those be high and your CRP be low?
They could differ because CRP, the only thing about CRP is that it actually can fluctuate quite a bit versus these markers won't fluctuate as much.
Yeah, I'm going to get that tested. I get myself tested a lot. So I don't know if I've had that. I've had like a bunch of the chemical tests done that you're talking about, like the blood tests. But regardless, I'm just happy that you guys actually have this research on your website, because I don't know if you know the company like Smart Sweets. They're pretty big here in Canada, but they basically came out a while ago. They came out with like sugar-free gummies, and they create this like sugar-free everything for children, like, and I guess adults too, like candy. And I think it was, I forget who it was, but someone last year tested it and said, okay, I'm going to eat this sugar-free candy, and I'm going to test my glucose, and I'm going to test my level of ketones. And it was terrible. The results were terrible. And they got so much slack. And so now, ever since I saw that whole experiment happen on social media, it's made me question when people are like, oh, this is really like low sugar, it's not going to do anything to you. And I'm like, no, I actually want to see the evidence, because I don't know. I don't really trust that most people are kind of sticking to what they're saying.
Yeah, it can, to think about it, can have corn syrup, it can have other things in there that are detrimental, and many things spike. If you look at even some vegetables can actually, fruits can, it has natural fruit juice in there. That's going to spike, your glucose level significantly. This is completely designed not to do it, to maintain it under control.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's kind of what happens when things become so popular, right? Like keto, people kind of just slap it on there and just assume it's doing, getting you into ketosis, but like, is it actually helping, Are there any side effects or potential risks that can kind of happen if people are doing this 5-day Prolon fast?
Side effects, as always, can be, number one, as we always tell everybody, talk to your your physician, talk to your general practitioner. Tell them, let them know it's something good, because at the same time, they're the ones that are going to order tests to tell you, why don't we test this before and test it after? And they can order those tests for you, which is pretty neat. Number one. Two is, you may feel jittery while you're doing it. The nice thing about doing this 5 days is there's a thing called Prolon Nation. It's on Facebook. I think it might be on Instagram also too. You can reach out, and there's many people on there telling you about their experiences, and there's many people to tell you, do this, do that, whatever you might need to do to get through it and make you feel better. If you're not used to it, you might feel a little weak. You might feel a little tired temporarily during the middle of it. It just depends. If you stick to the plan and go through it and eat what's given to you there,
yeah,
it might be a little bit difficult towards the middle, what we just said, that hump day. But otherwise, it shouldn't be that difficult. It's not that hard. And especially after you've done it once, the sequential times become exponentially easier.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think, like, for people who've never fasted before, maybe you just start with the 1 day box, and
Agreed.
then maybe you do the 5 day the next month. Like, I think kind of like a soft entrance into fasting or a fasting mimicking diet like this, I think could be very effective for a lot of people who are maybe kind of scared to commit to 5 days. And then what happens if they fail? And then all of the emotions that kind of go with that,
Agreed. That's what I normally tell people too, is if you're not ready to take the full plunge, try that 1 day. Try the protein bars. Those are great. Give them a chance and you'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Nice little gentle approach. So if people would like to connect with you and try the Prolon fast, which I definitely recommend, how can they do that?
Just go straight on to the website. And that website, actually, not only is it a great website to get information, it basically spells everything out for you. My medical and scientific team, if you go all the way down, you can scroll, get emails. You can ask, any questions you want on the info part of it. We're here to answer any questions. It might not be for everything, for everybody. We always say consult with your physician before you want to try it. Consult with us. Reach out to our medical team. Reach out to our scientific team. We're here to answer any questions you want. And there's a big support network in doing this.
I love that. Awesome. I'll put that in the show notes so everyone can find it super easily and on my website. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been great. And I definitely know my audience would get a lot out of it.
Brittany, thank you very much for your time, and have a fantastic and healthy birthday.
Thanks. Thanks for listening to another episode of Biohacking with Brittany. If you're interested in finding the show notes or the sponsors for this episode, you can do so on my website, which is biohackingbrittany.com. Remember to follow me on Instagram, where I'm most active. My handle is @biohackingbrittany. And if you're interested in working together and you want to email me directly, you can do that. My email is info@biohackingbrittany.com. And I look forward to hearing from you and having you tune in next week.